So in 1981, Group B rally racing was coming onto the scene. Porsche wanted in on the action, and it was a perfect excuse to develop the Group B car, what would later become the 959, and by most people, the ultimate supercar of the 1980s. So to go Group B rally racing, for starters, they knew they had to homologate the car. That meant they had to build 200 of them. Secondly, they needed to design an all-wheel drive system for this car if they were going to compete with the likes of the Audi Quattro. By the time Porsche finally got this car fine-tuned enough and the 200 cars produced for homologation, Group B was dead in 1986, the year these cars went into production. With Porsche wanting to get this car perfect and doing a whole ton of preliminary development on the all-wheel drive system in the 953, and then finally building 200 of these cars, with the short life that was Group B racing, these cars came out the same year that Group B died, and they never got to run in the Group B rally racing, just like the Ferrari 288 GTO. By the time it was all said and done, Porsche realized they were building an ultimate supercar. And an ultimate supercar in the 80s meant the car had to be right around 200 miles an hour, with a twin turbo, a sequential twin turbo, flat six, 414 horsepower in these things. The Comfort Edition, they did about 197 miles an hour, and the Sports, the stripped down version, did 212 miles an hour. Because this was a supercar that was developed for rally racing, there's a whole ton of items on this car that aren't on any other supercar on the planet. As soon as you step into this car, it's obvious that this is a 1980s Porsche. So as you start to look around and look at the gauges, you see some very unique gauges that would really only be on an off-road vehicle. You've got your front and rear power split. You've got your left side and right side torque split here, all off-road vehicle stuff. And then when you grab the shifter, you realize that where first gear would be is a G. And then the first gear is where second gear would be. So the G is for Gelände, which is an off-road gear, a super low gear. So then looking beyond the gear shifter here, you've got your suspension stiffness, where you can stiffen the suspension, soften it, all super, super trick stuff for the 80s. Here you've got your ride height adjustment. It's got active ride height adjustment, and you can adjust it on here. As I mentioned before, they built these cars in two options, the Comfort and the Sport. So they built 345 of these cars total, 29 of which were the Sport. What they wanted to do really was they wanted to delete a bunch of stuff and save a bunch of weight and get that big mile an hour, 212 miles an hour. So what they deleted was the leveling system, the central locking system, the power windows, the rear seats, oh, and they deleted the right side mirror. We've got the keys, we may as well fire this thing up. Just sitting here. That's pretty cool. Wow. So you go here, you've got your little clock, and I think this would be considered the first chrono. You know, you order a new Porsche and you get the option to have your little stopwatch up here. But this is, you know, 1980s, so it's digital, of course, and you can run your lap times off of the clock down here. You've got this little toggle here, and that on this gauge here swaps between your sunny mode, your rainy mode, and these are all traction modes, your snow, and of course your all-wheel drive. So I'll show you guys the luggage compartment here. So you open it up and the first thing you notice is the fuel filler cap right through here. So we'll go through some of the contents here. Obviously the car cover, deal with that. The tool kit, and I guess while we're at it here, I'll turn the battery off. We don't want to kill that. Just right here. Snap that down. You get these two nice bags that are your 959 toolkit. You got your jack, roadside reflectors in this, your center lock, because these magnesium wheels come off with a center lock, just like a race car at the time. Go in here, you get all your tools that came with this car. Wrenches, Allen keys, screwdrivers. Fold that back up. So going to the wheels, again, because this thing was designed as a supercar, but a supercar to go rally racing, they had these magnesium wheels with the center lug. They had run flat Michelin tires with an air pressure sensor in it. We'll go back to the engine compartment here, open it up. This has to be one of the earliest examples of a beautiful, tidy little engine compartment. As soon as you open this thing up, you realize this has to be the inspiration for future cars. And of course, you know, it's a Porsche. They've got this flat six, just so compact, so well designed, so well laid out in here. You don't really get to see as much as you'd like, but it's a beautiful display. You really get a good look at the composition of the body on this car, mixed between aluminum and Kevlar, trying to keep this thing light. And of course, the floor on these cars, they were built of Nomex. Although they never got to go Group B rally racing with these cars, they did do a couple cool races. The Paris to Dakar Rally. Then they took a completely different car in 1986 to Le Mans. They won their class with Rene again, and they were 7th overall. So when these cars first became available to the public in 1987, they were $225,000 US, purportedly half of what it cost Porsche to build these cars. Today's value, these cars are right around $2 million. Pretty good investment. So now we've got to ask ourselves, do you need a car like this? No. No one needs an almost $2 million Porsche supercar from the 80s. But do you want a car like this? Whether you're into rally racing, driving down gravel roads, sports car racing, wheeling this thing on the Autobahn, oh yeah, you want a car just like this.